Welcome back to Marbella Now. I'm Nicole King.
Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Halfway twisted.
My first guest this week is Faye Jones of My Guide Marbella. If you've never heard of My Guide, really go check it out, because when I did before the program, even though I've seen it just a little while ago, I was blown away, because you forget how much information could be compiled into one little space. Welcome back, Faye, to the program.
Thank you. It is a welcome back. It's been a while.
It has been. It's been a lot while. I think like a whole time.
Yeah, all sorts of happened in the world.
I'm not even going to talk about it, but stuff went down.
Yeah,
went down.
It went down, and we're back.
The nice thing is, talking about the unmentionable moments, is being an online guide. I'm sure a lot of people felt and found like solace in your page, because you already were so well established online, which was still relatively new in our community. We're still so old fashioned. We're dominating Facebook still, and we're trying to work out what Instagram's about. I suppose that must have been a nice time for you to feel that we're needed.
Yeah, I guess talking through the quarantine and the COVID times, we really did not stop working. One, because I think we all needed that for our mental health. I certainly did. I'm a person that likes filling my day and being proactive and having projects on the go. So we just really embraced it all and thought, what do people want to know? We wanted to keep people internationally aware of what was happening in Marbella, and also engage our local community, our business owners, support them in every which way we could. I mean, geez, everybody was suddenly with their legs and arms in the air, weren't they, a little bit? So we were constantly thinking of ways that we could, give support back into the community, business, locals, and keep the international sort of users aware of what we were doing.
I mean, even into the little details of which restaurants were delivering food to homes.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was a big deal at that time.
It was.
It was like, how do I get food?
There were things that we thought, wow, actually, this is quite straightforward for us to do with all the resources we've got. So we need to just get on it. I mean, I think we did sort of started a COVID updates page right in the early stages. And I think probably it still ranks now. If you put COVID Marbella or something, it's up there. And we kept that updated with all the little funny details that we all had to live by, and then use that as a springboard to get messages from businesses out there. So like the delivery stuff where you can pick up food, and as things started opening up, we were already sort of the go-to place for a lot of people to find out the information. So putting that work in during the lockdown period really helped us, and I think helped us support the community coming out of it. As well, and as soon as we could we started doing a series of live videos. So Muggins had to put her face behind the camera with my lovely colleague Johnny following me about town. But it was just our way of getting the message out there that Marbella is alive and kicking. Come here on holiday, as you could. I mean, we all had to go through the restrictions, but we just really wanted people to know what was happening on the ground. So doing those videos were really, really good fun, actually.
Yeah, and also I don't think people appreciate what it is to be like a pillar of information, which your guide is. I was so pleasantly surprised and delighted when you realised the extent of the correct information you have regarding Brexit, about voting, about signing on the Padron. I mean, you put those things out there, which I'm always begging people, please, let's share this information, because we need to know it. I think people are scared of the town hall. They think of licenses and permits and taxes, when it offers so much, particularly safety being, I always call it the tsunami effect. If we ever had to get information out there, where do we go to? What are these sources? You cover everything. Sure. The restaurant guides, beach bars,
the business directory.
I mean, the directory is so well presented.
Oh, good.
That was also nice, because when you can get overwhelmed with information.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people view a website now on a mobile phone as well. So, you know, as a business, my guide is obviously here in Marbella, but it is a network around the world. So, you know, as trends go towards mobile, there's big efforts into developing the mobile-friendly version. So I think whether or not you're behind a desktop or you're flicking on your phone, we try and make it as easy as possible to navigate, get to the information you want. For the business directories, make it as easy as possible for people to contact them, make an inquiry, check out their Instagram for a restaurant, look at the menu, you know, really try and load up the information. But when it comes to the useful info stuff, it's funny because as somebody that's lived here 20 odd years and been in these kind of positions, you know, worked in the press sector all these years, you are a flipping mind of information. And sometimes it just needs one person to say, can you put that down on paper, please? I think, oh, I forget, you know, those things we pick up as knowledge, and sometimes it's just, it needs that reminder from the public or from, you know, a user of the website to say, oh, I really need that step by step. So things like getting your TIE sorted, changing your driving license.
The big one. Like so, now people are just saying, well, you've got to go do a new test now.
Yeah, and but the reason so many people have put all that stuff off is because they don't know how to do it. So if somebody literally spells it out, step 1, go here, step 2, do it. And by the way, don't do that between 12 and 2 on a Thursday because they're not, you know, all those silly things. But if it's spelt out, then hopefully people are a bit more proactive, like they're getting signed on the empadronamiento. You know, the town hall have been wanting to make sure that it's clear how to do it. But yeah, fear of the unknown.
Exactly, and that's why pages like yours that embrace giving this information and encouraging people to do that for their own good. I think the more of us we do it together, and then it rings true if we all talk about the same thing. How did you get into My Guide Marbella? As you said, it's a global page, and it's not just a guide. It is very comprehensive. There's a whole ethos behind the brand. Explain us a little bit about the brand.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the business started in Marbella. So it was the very first destination. It was initially called My Destination. And we went through a rebrand about 7 years ago because My Guide just felt more like what it was that we were doing. And it isn't just a travel-related portal. Initially, it started off very much as like a visitor's guide. But in every instance around the world, you know, we're in everywhere from New Zealand, South America, all sorts of parts of Europe as well. Locals use it too. So, you know, making it feel too travel-focused wasn't the way to go. So, yeah, we went into the rebrand that came with sort of new logos and redesigns of the website. But yeah, what we're there for is really being that resource for local community and for anybody that wants to come here. It's all locally driven. So unlike other sort of similar ideas of websites, it's not a team that's based outside of the location writing about what they think they know from the last time they went or what they can pick up through Google. It's really kind of right from the horse's mouth, locally informed, globally inspired is our tagline.
Well, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's quite good that one.
I also like when I was looking through the page and you have a section that you can make like your own little guide. So I can go in there and put Nicole's guide and what I like and the places I've enjoyed.
So it's like creating a playlist. Yeah, like people love Spotify. So I think when that concept came together, it was when Spotify was sort of finding its feet a bit. And, you know, people were talking about, oh, have you got a playlist? You can share a playlist. So sort of captured on that, and the technology team, you know, put together this, it's not done overnight, things like that. It's pretty clever, geeky stuff.
Yeah.
But it does allow people to save their favourites, if you like, and share them. So it does, and they can add to it, they can delete it, so they can come back to it. And I think that's been a really useful function on the site. So you can add, you know, let's say you're coming here for a weekend, you can put the restaurants in that you want to go to, you can highlight some events that you've spotted on the events calendar. If there's a useful blog article that you want to be able to go back to, you can put that in there. And then rather than having to navigate the whole site again, you've just got what you need for that trip. So it's good.
There's a lot of work behind the scenes. People don't realise what goes on behind the scenes, but providing such a comprehensive page obviously takes a team.
Yeah.
As you briefly mentioned before, Johnny Gates is the official photographer.
Yeah. We have worked together for many years. So my life in the media started with magazines here. So I worked in the print industry with High Society magazine, and back in the days when even Maurice Boland owned it.
I remember it well.
Transitioned sort of through some different owners, but gained all my local knowledge, made those initial friends in the media who are still great friends. We had that press event the other day when we've suddenly all together you go, wow, I've known some of you lot sort of 18 years, it's a long time. But yeah, it sort of went. I met Johnny through the magazines. He literally took me under his wings and said, I was 24 when I started that, 23, 24. I said, right, you're only going to be able to, I was the advertising manager, you're only going to be able to sell space in this if you get to know everybody, which means you're out every night. Oh, okay. But at that age, you could do it. And he just took me everywhere he went, introduced me to everybody he knew. He does.
And that really is a gift, because contacts here are like gold. It's more invaluable than money. But he's so right. The way to do things here is by people that know you and that they recognise you and they trust you. Yeah. They like you, and that only happens by association. Yeah. Getting out there, meeting people, that they get to see the joy, the truth behind the project.
Communicate, talk to people, find out, what's happening in their lives, in their business, and then, put together, okay, well, how can I provide the service, or how can I help them grow that? Or, and it being a very international community here is something that I've always found really interesting, really engaging. It's never
and you have young kids.
I have two. One that's not so young. I have a 9-year-old and a 15-year-old.
That goes quickly, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, just rather.
How do they enjoy growing up in the coast?
Well, funnily enough, last night I was on the phone, I had a little video call with my little one, and she said, Mum, I've come into Magna Cafe and you're on the TV. I said, what do you mean, Mum is on the... My guide Marbella, it's on the TV. I said, well, when Mum says I'm going out to work and I'm working with Johnny and we're filming something and we're putting... I said, that's what I'm doing. And she's like, that's really cool, Mum.
Oh, how lovely. See them as they grow, putting it together.
Yeah. Because I think at her age, it's been okay, well, Mum goes and works and she sees a website. But, I mean, a website is a bit surreal, I think, still to a 9-year-old,
Yeah, but seeing on TV is a bit more TikTok-ish, isn't it? Yeah. It's a bit more out there. It's like Mum's on the telly.
Well, when we started doing the videos, like we did a My Guide Weekly, I suppose it came from this whole thing of not wanting people to think we'd disappeared, because so many businesses were disappearing at one time. So I was like, right, face the camera, get out, show people we're here. And I think the little one, she liked that. So then it was instantly, Mum, you're famous.
Well, it is nice. And it's nice for kids to be proud of their parents. I'm proud of you. It's lovely what you do. The page is fabulous. Johnny's fabulous, an icon of our community, as are you. And I'm quite a newbie in comparison, not to the community, but definitely to the journalistic press group. And I've been
very welcome.
I felt very welcomed, and I enjoy it tremendously. And it's a great bunch, and we're all here to help everyone who's out there, and that's the nice thing, that we can #better together get through this
for sure.
successfully.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's building community is really important. Just talking to the lady that's going to come on,
Maria from the Marbella Rugby Club.
Yeah, building community through whichever ways we can is important, because people can feel really lonely here. A lot of us relocate. A lot of us don't have family here, or even, we might have our immediate family, but no extended family. So our friends become our family here.
Exactly.
And
those of us who work our work colleagues become our family too, because that's who you spend your time with.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps.
No.
Well, we're going to leave it there, but Faye Jones of Marbella Guide. My Guide Marbella, even that, that too.
MyGuideMarbella.com.
MyGuideMarbella.com. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you at the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit on the 24th of November.
Johnny and I will be there.
Looking forward to it. Don't go away. Back in a moment.
welcome at Wheels Cafe.
Everyone that comes and wants to join our Zero Hero Association, they will have free non-alcoholic drinks at our venue at any time.
Hi guys, Ross here from Hogan Stand. Proud to be a member of the Zero Hero campaign. And we recommend everybody. Nobody drives drinking. Everybody who drives a car doesn't have any alcohol in their system, and we're proud to sponsor the Zero Hero program.
Lily Van Tongeren, Vice President of AAA Marbella, our animal rescue centre, has been on the programme for a few weeks in a row to promote their open day that took place last Sunday. It was an absolute success. I had a wonderful time. I was there for over 3 hours, bumped into some lovely people, bought some great things, and it was an absolute wonderful display of community and solidarity. Let's go along now so you can take a quick look.
Hey, our 2 animals, Jean-Pierre. Da, in dem Plastik.
Ross James, amazing, lovely to see you and here with your
And you.
fabulous paintings and your mascot portraits.
Yes, exactly. They've been very popular. Everyone just
They're
needs
fabulous.
to send me a picture, photograph, and reproduce. That was fun to do that.
Oh, that's really, they're good.
Yeah.
Not that I'm surprised, but they're
Well,
good.
that was an abstract. Well, they wanted an abstract, but you can see I've still picked out the features of the cat. But she, the only wanted a little feral kitten that was rescued in Ireland. A Bichon. Cats. A mixture between abstract and whatever for Henry.
And this is again
You know,
for AAA?
Everything, yeah, all the profits and everything go, of all my stuff, at any time, not just here, go to AAA, always.
Last time we were on
Yes.
the show, we were talking about your wonderful marble effects paintings,
yeah.
also exceedingly popular.
Yeah, the abstract ones, they are popular.
They're just, because they're different, and you can have any colour combination. I've done quite a few sort of different commissions for people that wanted specific colours, say for their bedroom or the lounge or whatever, and you can mix paint to any colour you want.
And supporting AAA.
Yeah, absolutely,
Go, girl.
everything goes there.
Lovely to see you.
And you, as
And you,
always.
Derek. Things for my puppy. ¿Qué tal? Buenos días. Hola. Qué monados.
Tiene que estar viniendo. Para los sábados no pasa nada, pero si te da frío.
Hey, you. It's still early for Sunday morning. I mean, I really made an effort to get myself out the house. Hey, Donna. Hey, Diana. Faithful. Hey, Zaria. Hola. Yes, it's just too much. general used to show what went down.
Riego, viñedos viejos plantados en los años 70 y un encanto de proyecto. Este es tinto, pero vamos, hace también un blanco, tenemos un Viura, 100% Viura, si quieres.
I was sent to find Ben and Matthew, and I found them. You are Ben?
I'm Ben, yes.
And that there is the back of Matthew's serving wine.
And this is the back of Matthew, yeah, he's doing his job there, yeah,
Your
wonderfully.
Simply Wines.
Simply Spanish wine.
Simply Spanish wine,
Yep.
and you've got a tasting going on.
Exactly, yes. We're an online wine shop dedicated to the international residents here in Spain, and our aim is to educate and teach and explain Spanish wine to internationals who have made Spain their home. We're here at the AAA Sanctuary giving a free tasting of some of our wines. We're explaining a little bit about the wines, what they are, where they come from, and we're obviously, if anyone wants to take a bottle away with them, they can do. Otherwise, they can go online and buy it from the website.
Wonderful, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And the proof of the pudding, well, the proof of the wine is in the tasting.
A lovely Galician wine.
Hola, Ana. La face de AAA.
Mucha calor para de comer. Lluvia.
Hey, hey.
G-Wine is happy to be your partner.
How cool is that? G-Wine.
Thank you.
When I'm the designated driver, I think it's only fair that I get to choose a Zero Hero venue that rewards me with free soft drinks. My friends all get to choose and booze, and they feel safe going home with me. Make sure that you get your reward for being the designated driver. Why pay if you don't have to?
Hey, hey.
Joining me now, once again, is Maria Maganto of Marbella Rugby Club. Last week I showed you a little excerpt, snippets of the recordings I took of my 4-year-old granddaughter, who I signed up to the club just a little while ago. And not necessarily because I want her to play rugby, but because I love the club atmosphere. And Maria represents everything the club represents. You really are the most perfect ambassador for the rugby club, for the things that matter, I think, as a community, which is the heartfelt togetherness, the team spirit. And you're a volunteer, but you would think that this was your full-time job.
Yeah. I mean, I say sometimes that it's a labour of love, and it feels like it just never ends, because there's so much that we can do that is, really helpful for the community, helpful for the kids, getting them into sport, getting them into rugby, and the community that we have at the club is just like, the best. And not just at the club, with the clubs that we do, we play against. So this weekend this last weekend just gone, we were in Sevilla for a new tournament that we've set up, which is it was organised by CAR Sevilla, Alcobendas Madrid, and us. And so we had the small under 10s at our club, and then the 12s and the 14s were in Sevilla. And it was so great, because it wasn't just about rugby. It was, they played during the day, then they did activities in the afternoon when the trainers went to have like a little sort of training session, a charla, as we say in Spanish. And then in the evening we had dinner together. So it means all the children got together, because they play against each other and they know each other, but they don't necessarily have that time, where they can kind of, have an evening together and get to know each other in a kind of a more social setting. So
it's so
it was
funny,
wonderful.
but it's like the same as when the consuls, they meet and all these different events. But I've realised that the United Nationalities and Marbella Summit, when I put them together to actually get to know each other, because when they're working, like when you're playing match, you don't have time to actually talk to the person. It goes for all professions, whether it's real estate people or consulates or lawyers, you're always like working.
You're busy, yeah.
But that moment to just hi, who are you?
Yeah, exactly. And what's fab is when we arrive in Sevilla, all the children go, oh, it's Rupert, oh, it's Dylan, you know, they kind of know, and the trainers know them as well. So, you know, they call us their sister club, you know, Car Sevilla, and it's really fabulous because it feels like you're at home when you go there, you know, and everything was really super well organised. And
who organises it?
Well, it's the clubs organise it, but this was something we've set up particularly for us as clubs, and we invited another club which came to Marbella, which was Abeles, which is a Valencian club. And so it's basically the clubs between themselves saying, okay, let's do this tournament, let's organise something. And it's really great for Madrid to come down, the Madrid clubs to come down to Sevilla and to Marbella, to the south, to come and play against us is a real, because they're one of the best, you know, clubs in Spain, you know. So it was really
How is
great.
rugby in Spain in general? Is it really taken off?
Yeah, it's massively kind of exploding now. In Andalusia, it's not as well known as in the north of Spain. In the north of Spain, it's a lot more well known because it's historically, you know, been around for a lot longer. But yeah, I mean, we're really kind of becoming on the map, really. I mean, on Saturday in Malaga, the Spanish team, national team, is playing against Tonga at the Ciudad de Deportes in Malaga. So we're playing the children. We're taking the children under 12s to play in the morning. In Malaga, and then we head to the Ciudad because they're giving us tickets for the children to come and watch the match. So I mean, it's ever since the sevens were in Malaga and Seville, because a lot of those countries weren't able to travel, so New Zealand and Australia and those other countries, so they weren't able to have, because it was difficult to get into those countries, they actually held in January the sevens in Malaga and Sevilla, and that's really brought on, in this region specifically, a lot more interest in rugby. So it's really great. And we're seeing a huge influx of new people coming to the club. And so we started in September, our season starts in September, and it's been like sort of crazy busy with just, you know, getting lots of new people who didn't know rugby, who are coming to it now. And it's fabulous because it is, like you said, you know, one of the best things about it is it's a very family-orientated sport. So when the children go and play, they travel with the club, but the families will travel on their own to come and visit and to come and watch the matches. So it's a really, you know, great atmosphere. And, you know, I often
one of the
say,
best ways for me I've seen to make friends as young parents or as parents in Marbella
Absolutely.
is this, because it's all nationalities, and I love to see how many business owners are involved for the same reason, because it's family. You can't be hanging out in restaurants and bars all the time. Where do you go with the kids? What do you do?
Yeah.
And you were in Gibraltar just 2 weeks before this?
We were in Gibraltar because we've kind of made a lot of sort of close contacts with them. And so what we'll do is we go over there or they come to us. And, you know, it's really great because it just means that we kind of, you know, the kids are like, you know, we were, I mean, it's not very far away, obviously, but we were laughing saying, you're international players now, you've travelled, you've gone across the border. And they just, you know, the children just love it, and they just love being on the bus. They're able to stay in you know, with the club, which means they get their independence. And I've got a 14-year-old daughter now who's playing for the under-14s, and she loves that whole social aspect as well, because it's a, you know, it's a place where they can sit and they're outside and they're enjoying themselves and they're socialising. And I think, you know, these days with screens and computers, and you can get very lost in a world that is not real, that is virtual. And, you know, the fact is at the club you never see, you know, you might see the odd telephone, but you won't see a gaming system or an iPad or anything like that. And if somebody brings one out, everyone goes, put it away, you're outside.
Yeah. And all the girls and boys of all ages are obviously playing together as people, which is another thing. Do you know what I mean? In the sense you're not dressing up and putting makeup on to go and play rugby, and yet everyone gets to see the real, genuine, authentic person that's there.
Yeah, and I think it's great for girls to be able to, because in England they actually stopped playing with girls until at the age of 12. Whereas here they're able to play until 16, and I think it's such a great experience for them, for the workplace, for, you know, for school to feel equal. Not to necessarily to say, well, actually, you're not the same or you're not as good, you know. And I think that's a really good experience for them to feel like, actually, I'm just as well equipped, you know, to be able to play against them.
Just people playing a sport, as opposed to all the extra innuendos and pressures, basically, of being a teen.
Modern life.
It's so exactly. It's so unfair.
Yeah. So it's really it's really a great environment, and we do have a lot of people who the first thing they might do when they're moving to the area is they'll come and say, we're moving to the area, we want to join a rugby club, where is the nearest school, where is where are the apartments that are nearby the club, because it's something that that you would have at home, you're completely right. I would say, my time at the club is, I feel like that's my family here, and I think if you're moving somewhere and you don't have family around, then you can build up your own little community, because the minute you walk into the club, people will say, oh hi, how are you, and I have clubs in England and Ireland who come over who say, what a great atmosphere, this is like like no other club we've ever been to. So I always feel really kind of quite proud of the fact that actually there is that atmosphere, and you don't always find that when you go to some sort of sporting clubs. And also children feel like it's their home, and that gives me a massive kick every time I see a boy that might have been sidelined in a different sport because of their size. They might be too big or they might be too small. They come to the club and I kind of look at them and I think, you've clicked, this is it, this is your home, and you're never going to leave, and you're going to be one of these players who are here forever. And they just can't wait to come back. It's like they say the enganchas, which hooks,
and
there
is
a
a
hook.
Stability, and we live in a very transitional city.
Massively.
So there's many stable, consistent things that can be there, that you can make friends and grow up with them and still have them when you're young adults and then through your life.
Yeah, and also be able to, we have that history quite a lot. We have players who leave because they might go and study somewhere else, but then they always come back. And we're really fortunate in that, the Marbella Rugby Club is really important in Spain. Because recently they did a sort of account in the press where we had 9 players who were actually players who'd learned to play rugby in Marbella Rugby Club who played for the national team or internationally. So outside of Spain.
Done.
So yeah, I
well
know,
done.
really great. And I think that's the thing is that players who are really good, and we're really fortunate in that we've got a really great school. But when they leave, they will always come back and they always talk about the club. And when you hear them talk about the club, they talk about it with such love. And, they feel like they're really kind of, sort of these warm, open arms of the club. And I just think, exactly like you said, they're things that you remember as a child. And they're things that will always stick you. It's like your favourite teacher. Yeah. Your favourite teacher that you always kind of will always remember what they did for you and how they made you feel. And I think that's what's really important is in a world, how it makes you feel in a world where, you don't get that kind of feeling out of how many likes you get on because it's like fish and chip paper. It gets, it's in one day, gone the next. And it's like you said, it's completely transient, whereas, the club is some constant that will always sort of make them feel like, they've got a warm feeling and they belong.
A place to be, a place they belong.
Yeah, absolutely.
All these things that we preach and promote, because our kids need that. They need these places, they need safe spaces to hang out. If people would like to come to the club, check it out. Is it open every day? What days you're open? What times are open? How can we go see and support?
We're open almost every day except for Monday and Friday, and because we also have the Gaelic. We have the Irish Gaelic football that happens on a Sunday. So there's training almost every single night, and the bar is open. So you can just come, you don't actually have to even be a member. You can come and have like a coffee or come and watch a match. And our social media is quite active. So, for example, this weekend we've got the under-14s playing against the Ciencias who've coming from Sevilla. Our under-16s and under-18s are going to Puerto Santa Maria to play there. We're going to Malaga, but there is always something happening at the club, and it's kind of, our pitch is probably, I'd say, a little bit overused, because we're any slot to be able to play rugby, then we will, or even
the installations are wonderful, and you've got a lot of collaboration from the town hall.
Oh, they've
been
amazing.
Everything. You've got great garden, real
grass.
Lawn pitches.
Yeah, they did they actually resurfaced an area at the back of the annex of the pitch, which we use for training now. And it's absolutely fabulous. And we've got new changing rooms, new bathrooms. It's really great. And then the car park, well, it looks like a completely different place. The car park is just fab. It's better than some sort of like huge supermarket car park. So that's been really great, because before you used to drive in and you'd be a bit like, oh, like I'm on a bit of a dirt road. So now it looks fabulous. So yeah, the town hall has been fantastic, been really, really helpful.
It is
and supportive.
it's a big plus for our city, as you say, putting Marbella once again on the map.
Absolutely.
And with our superstars, but above all, that feeling of community,
Yeah.
supporting each other,
Yeah.
get together feeling, which
Yeah,
is so
yeah.
necessary
I'm
for our
proud
youth.
about our city, proud of something that we're doing, you know, that we do for the city. And, you know, we go outside of Spain travelling, you know, I say outside of Spain, outside of this area. So we'll go to the Melee, which will be in Valladolid in December. And then we've got the national tournaments. So we take the name of Marbella all over Spain. And wherever you go, my parents live in Madrid, and I go to Madrid, and my parents will say, oh, you know, my grandson and granddaughter play rugby. And they say, oh, where for? And they go, Marbella. And they go, oh, Marbella, that's a really good rugby club. So, you know, we're kind of, you know, we're forging sort of links, you know, and we have a lot of international clubs wanting to come to Marbella.
Which just makes it nice. And I love the idea when you say that when the kids go play, the parents, families can go along to. What a nice way to explore Spain.
Yes.
Let's go and have a weekend in Puerto de Santa Maria. Let's go to Valladolid. Let's go.
Exactly.
So it's really, you can make a whole thing of it.
Exactly. And a lot of our international, you know, sort of families will actually say that. They'll go, God, I've seen all these other places, and you know, I've had
You
an
need to
excuse
have a travel
to go.
agency as well now, just to book in all the You're missing an opportunity
I know,
there.
the
You're not
trips.
working enough, Maria.
I need more time in the day.
More
There's
time
not enough time in the day.
There isn't, and we've run out of time now for our chat. But we very grateful that the Marbella Rugby Club are sponsors of this year's United Nationalities of Marbella Summit 2022, and already for 2023. So how cool is that? Hashtag better together. Sport is important, but the club atmosphere at the Marbella Rugby Club, that's number one for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the rest is really good
absolutely.
too. The rest is really cool too. Don't go away, we'll be back in just a moment. Thank you, Maria.
My pleasure.
Zero Hero, welcome here at the Gaucho de Banús.
Welcome to Lemongrass, Doña Lola. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, Kazakhstan is proud to welcome the Zero Heroes. So come on in and enjoy free soft drinks for anyone who is the designated driver. Thank you, Nicole.
So here we are at Everest. Very cool.
Yeah.
Stickers going up.
Hiya, my name is Govinda. I'm from Everest. Welcome to Zero Hero, to Everest Fusion, to enjoy your cocktails, drinks, and happy hour as well. And food, of course, is delicious. Thank you.
Welcome to Sister Taperia. Perfecto.
Where you see this sticker, you know that Zero Heroes are welcome. That means if you are the designated driver going out with people who are drinking, you will be rewarded with free soft drinks. How will they know that you didn't cheat? Well, we give these free disposable breathalyzers that are sponsored by Linea Directa and the Road Traffic Safety Foundation. Linea Directa. The Road Traffic Safety Foundation only came about because the insurance company had statistics on the horrors of what happens on our roads and the reasons that cause it. And they know that promoting road traffic safety awareness by rewarding those who don't drink and drive is going to go a long way to keep us safer on our streets. We have loads of businesses that are participating. They have these little things on the table, the nice little QR codes. You can go to our website and check out the businesses that are embracing this incentive. And it's wonderful to see hotels such as the Kempinski and the Guadalpine Banús, the Casino of Marbella. Then you've got loads of restaurants in Marbella Arena, such as Miss Raw, Mandaris, Shelby's, to name but a few, who have also taken this on board, and the originals, including the Harbour, the Linekers Group. The list goes on, and I'm so proud that it is continuing to grow. So much so that we need volunteers. If you want to help out with this initiative, it's lots of fun, and we'd love to have you on board. Similarly, we would like to invite you to the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit coming up this year on the 24th of November, coincidentally, Thanksgiving. So what better day to do something for our community than on a day that the Americans are already leading the way to give thanks. We're lucky to live here, but unfortunately, certain things come up in our international community that we need to address and resolve ourselves. Every year we get together to discuss the topics that are most on the forefront. Last year, unfortunately, it was teen suicide and trying to promote prevention awareness and helplines, 24 hours, 7 days a week. This year we will also be addressing that issue, unfortunately, because it's still a big problem. And it's a pandemic worldwide. It's not just our city. But that is something that we will be addressing once again, and particularly communication, how to create those 5 pillars, those points that aren't conflictive for anyone. No one feels they're stealing anyone's business or customers, but that can keep us all connected. We call it the tsunami effect. God forbid something should happen that we all need to know. Well, we had COVID as an example. It would be nice to know that we can be reached and that we can reach other people in return. So if you would like to join us for the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit 2022, drop me a line at marbellartvm@gmail.com. You can get the details from my website, nicoleking.es. Anyway, that's enough for me for the moment. Let's carry on with the show.
Hey, hey.
A new partner of Zero Hero.
Alright guys, so I'm the designated driver tonight, so I'm going to choose the Zero Hero place. So all of my soft drinks are for free. And if you want to go somewhere else, just check out the Facebook, Instagram or the zerohero.es website for any of the bars, discotheques or restaurants on there. I'm happy to go anywhere you want to go, as long as it's Zero Hero.
It's a brand new day.
Zero Hero, welcome to the Secret Garden. We welcome you.
It's a brand new hey, hey.
It is always a pleasure and an honor to welcome Masha Malka back to the program. She's an international speaker, she's an author, she's a life coach, and she's a good friend, so perfect package. Masha, welcome back to the program.
Thank you so much for having me back.
I can't believe it's been so long. You just mentioned that the last time I saw you, we were wearing masks.
Yes, I was made to wear a mask, so relieved that it's no longer a case.
Well, you look great, and you've been everywhere. You've been traveling around the world. You haven't stopped. Give me a little bit of an update of where you've been and what you've been up to.
A friendly one or a community one?
A community one, a community one.
No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm working as a consultant now for a big bank, which takes me all the way to Uzbekistan, which is incredible because it's a place where my dad was born and raised, and I've been dreaming to go there. And then this opportunity came up, and I said, you know, it has to happen. And you know, it was one of those things that was so far-fetched, but at the same time, it meant so much to me that when all the rules of manifesting works. You know,
so
when
you
just put it.
What you
yes,
preach.
I practiced what I preached, and it worked. I cried when I got that contract. It was incredible, but it does work. You know, you just kind of just put it out.
And what
there.
are you? You're sharing your wisdom, your ways of making the most of what we have. How does one approach a huge company like a bank to give them guidance?
My part is all about people, and I'm passionate about people, and in this particular case it has a personal meaning to me because I feel like I'm giving back to people that kind of gave me my dad. That's how I looked at it. So it's almost like part of my purpose, mission, manifestation. So what I do is I help the people of the company go through transition. So it's really not that different to what I've always been doing. It's just helping people through tough times, through change, through adapting to new things. It's all about the mindset. It's all about explaining so that they understand, motivating, inspiring, and also training, coaching, and supporting, things like that.
So much relies on the simple, basic things of life. And you've written a few books summarizing and basically simplifying the main ways to approach life, which is that, first of all, we all have different perspectives, and we might be looking at the same things, but we don't see it the same way. Your wonderful analogy with the house, I'm standing one side and I see two windows and a door, and you're at the same house, but you're seeing it from the other side, and there's a big garage door and there's no windows. And that's how so many lack of understanding comes from lack of communication, really getting our message across. And you're an expert in how to actually get the message across.
Yes, just going back to how you started the message, that we all have different ways of looking at things. And I always remind myself and people I speak to that over 95% of everything that we do, think, believe, expect is habitual. Just think about it for 1 second. Over 95% happens on a subconscious level, not consciously. We just do it habitually. It's incredible. So that means that we habitually look at situation, interpret a situation a certain way. So when something happens, everybody reacts differently. Why? Because we're running different programs based on our life experiences. This 95% is different to everyone else. But really, things that happen are neutral until each of us gives a meaning to what has happened. And the meaning that we each give, again, is based on this program that we're running. So that's why, people disagree or argue or misinterpret things, miscommunicate things, because we all react based on that program. And the only way for us to change personally is to address that programming, to go into our subconscious. This is one of the things that I do as well through hypnosis, but there are other ways, different ways to work with your subconscious. But also, as you said, important to understand when you're communicating with someone that they do not really see your point of view because they run a different program. The only way for you to influence someone, to convince someone, is not from your point of view, but from theirs. So that's why people say listen more than you speak, because when you listen, you actually get to understand what side of the house they're looking at, and then you speak their language, so to speak. You explain to them in the way that they understand, not necessarily that you understand.
It's so spot on, and I'm sitting here and 100 things are coming to mind that are relating to that. And I remember at school we were very privileged, I realise now, that we did debating, apart from theatre, which I think is also very important for expression and not for us to lose our inhibitions and our insecurities. But the debating skills, I think, that I learned as a child has allowed me to be a journalist. The fact that I am thoroughly intrigued by both sides of the story, because curiously they can both be right. And if both people believe they're 100% right, you get nowhere by challenging, accusing, attacking. It has to be done from a point of understanding, of mutual willingness.
The words that you used, intrigued and curious, are excellent words for us, all of us, to keep. Just about life in general. Something happened, and instead of getting upset, you can say, I'm very intrigued by why this guy dumped me or something. I don't know. I'm curious as to why this person is so rude to me. I'm just like, it's fascinating. It's how you interpret things, and you use the words that actually point to the fact that you are a wise and intelligent person. And that's just something that, again, it's a habit. It's a habit. You look at things from that point of view, and you have a completely different experience, or you get something completely different from the same experience that the person that has a victim mentality or used to blame, and they'll get a completely different experience.
Their expectations are also different, and we often do get what we expect. I don't think we appreciate how much our energy influences how the other people perceive us.
Definitely.
So the same thing, if you don't feel confident, you have to act confident, so people perceive you as confident. It all is just perception. It's all projection of what we project. The wisdom that one has when one gets to a certain age. You've got grown-up children. I'm now a grandmother. And I do see now that the more you try to push things, the worse it is. You have to let things flow. I have actually lived, and the TV show is also proof in the sense you have a vision, and if you believe it, doesn't matter what anyone else says or how they see it, if you keep your own conviction and that feeling of ability. How do we address when we have a feeling of inability? Because you're good at that too. How do we change over from feeling victim, I can't do this, it's all right for everybody else but not for me, when you're at the worst moment? How does one get a grip to change it so that everything can then flow?
So again, going back to how we started, it's not you, it's the program that you're running. It's like a computer software that you're running. If you change the software, the hardware stays the same, but it's a completely different program. So you have to separate yourself, who you are, the real you, the authentic you, from your belief system, what you've been told, even what you experience, because what you experience is based on your beliefs, and like you said, what you attract. So what happened to you yesterday doesn't mean it has to happen to you tomorrow, because just the smallest of changes, not huge, if you try to change too quickly, too fast, it takes you too far out of your comfort zone, and it just pulls you back even further, like into that safety space, because it gets really scary. So it's very, very important that if you're looking to change your life, you do it in small increments. You just do it one habit at a time, either one new empowering habit, or letting go of the habits that are holding you back, but just one at a time. And once you got that done, then you move to the next one. Once you get that done, you move to the next one. Human beings are wired in a way that we want quick results, fast results, easy results. It doesn't really work like that with change, because this program we've been running for years and years and years, and to change the program, it takes a bit of time and patience. But if you're focused and you know what you want and you're determined and you truly know that no matter what, you're going to get there, everything starts to help you and assist you around you. The right people come your way, the right program comes on the television, and you hear the right things. You pick up the right book, or you watch a movie and you can relate to the hero of the show and of the movie, and you say, oh yeah, well, they did this, I can do that. So something starts to happen to assist you. Once you decide, I'm going to do it, this is going to happen, I'm capable, if they can do it, I can do it maybe even better. But you don't even have to compare yourself to others. It's you want to become the best version of yourself.
The two things you said there that making me reflect, one about the movie, being the own star in your own movie, and I think a lot of the times I find helpful that if I'm not doing the things I want to do, if I look at it as if I was watching a television show and I was me in the character of the television show, what would I think about that person that I'm watching? Because sometimes it helps to remove yourself to actually see from the outside, what does that person look like from the outside? That person doing well, or they're a bit pathetic?
I love that.
I find that helps me.
That's cool.
And the other thing is the overwhelming is getting help, whether it's in the office or personally. Sometimes if we've got too much going on, it's hard to separate. So I used to always love seeing my dad, because I'd tell him all the stuff going on and he'd help me like dissect it. But if you don't have that, which I now don't, having someone like a Masha Malka, as somebody who can listen to the big picture and then support to address each issue, because it's easy when you know what you want, but if you don't know what you want, then that makes it that little bit harder.
I mean, even for somebody like me who supposedly has a formula or something, it's also good to have someone else, like a coach. You want to go outside of you in order to help you get the support, the clarity, the bigger picture. It's very difficult to see outside of what you already know. You want to step out of that, and then for that, coaches are definitely a big plus. That's what we're mostly here for, to give that different way of looking at things, to give support, to give recognition, to accountability, by the way, is also a big thing, because it's easy to say no to yourself when you make a decision. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll start on Monday. No lie, well, this is coming. But when you have somebody you're accountable for, and next week you're going to speak to that person, you don't want to lose your face, and you want to feel that you've accomplished something. So it really helps you progress so much faster and achieve the goals.
You have 3 young children, 2 have flown the nest, you've still got 1 left, but you've lived through them growing up in Marbella, growing up in an international tourist community, the fears and the blessings of technology and the internet, the bullying, one liking sing and dance, one liking this, one liking that. And as a coach, you've said on previous shows that even with your own kids, sometimes you forget to apply the techniques, and we need to listen to our kids. A couple of years have gone by, your children are that much older, and we have delicate situations with a lot of our children worldwide. It's not just Marbella. This isn't particular to us. It's a worldwide pandemic with children feeling lost. Understandably, the world is very fast, and we are so antiquated in our way of doing things that our parents used to say, when I was a child, or my music. But nowadays it's really true. We have no understanding of what they're facing, the ways that they could be bullied. How can you perhaps guide parents to start conversations with kids to actually see how they're feeling? Not whether they've done their homework, not how good their grades are, but actually to start conversations of how they're feeling.
Incredible question, really. When I coach people my age or even younger, that they're having problems with their children, they're clashing with their kids, especially as they get closer to teenage years, but these days even earlier. And they say, well, I told them, they have to do this, and they have to do that, and they have to do like that. And I said, but you can't say that to them anymore. You're absolutely right. We grew up in a completely different world, and it's very difficult for us to relate to their world or them to ours. And the gap is a lot wider than it was between us and our parents, 100%. And so, first of all, understand that. That's number one. Second, if you understand that, then try to understand their world. So what I did was all my children, they're all very different. As you know, they're very different kids. In order for me to understand their world, what they're going through, what they're thinking, what is happening, I used to watch, let's say, the shows. Like I said, what are you doing? What are you watching? What are you reading? I'd pick up the book and read the book they read. I sit down with them and we'll watch a show together. And then as we watch the show, casually we'll discuss, like, what do you think about this? Like, why did she do that? Would you do the same? Why wouldn't you do that? What happened here? Like, I don't understand. Or maybe I don't, but I want to understand what they're thinking. So for me to actually, like I was saying before, to look at the house from their point of view, their perspective, I gotta kind of dive into their world and not dictate to them what I think is right, because it's not right for them anymore. That's for sure.
Just last week I was with some friends, and a young boy, and he was telling us how he goes through TikTok. And you could see the mother had no idea what TikTok was, and she thought it was kind of silly. And I said, but what kind of things do you watch? And so he started telling me, and again the mother was like foo-fooing it. It's like, I kind of think you should be asking him to show you what he watches. And in the end I sat down with him, we went through it, and it was all good things, but he was very willing to explain it and to share it. And I think we have to remember to give value, as you're saying, to how they see it, what their perspective, to even begin to give them guidance.
Sure. No, we're definitely teachers for each other when it comes to children, but at the same time it's important, not to cross that line of friendship in a sense. I mean, yes, you're friendly, but you're still a parent and a child. And that's something that a child needs to understand, in the sense that there is that level of respect that you have to instill in your child. Not dictating to them what they need to do, although at certain points you have to put your foot down, there are certain times, but they have to understand, because at the end of the day you are a mother or a father, and they have to respect that. And that starts from very, very early ages, like very early. Not to give them mixed messages, they have to respect you. They might not agree with you, they have to respect you. But also, you earn their respect by respecting them. And you respect them by listening and wanting to understand and wanting to hear their side. And then, speaking to them and explaining. But at the end, you're a parent and a child. There has to be that distinction.
I found a big help for me, what a friend told me, which is why it's so good for us to share issues. And she said to me, just don't say no. Say yes if it's possible. And just by changing, as opposed to them saying something was quite ridiculous, I want to go camping all night in the mountains on a school night. So instead of saying, no, that's ridiculous, it's a school night, learn to say, what if it's possible? Yes. Because then when you look at it together, they can see it's not possible. So it's like to not cut off that communication and to again, listen to them. It's lovely listening to you. We have to finish now, but any final words of wisdom for how we can all keep a grip when we're losing it, because it's easily done. We live in stressful times.
Oh yes, it's definitely very stressful times. It's times of uncertainty, and uncertainty is very difficult because we don't know what to expect. When we don't know what to expect, we don't know if we're capable of handling it, and that puts us in a very vulnerable place. So I think maybe understanding that we're never really in control. The only thing we're in control of is how we react to things. And if we have a strong foundation in who we are, and this confidence that no matter what happens, we can handle it, and you build a support system around you. You friendships and family, you have to nurture that. And so no matter what happens, you have that support system around you, and also most importantly within yourself, that you can handle it. And just let go of wanting to control everything, because the more you want to control things, the more frustrating and stressful it gets. Just like you were saying, it comes with years of wisdom. Go with the flow and trust that it will be okay.
Oh, so blessed that you've come to the program. I hope we'll see each other in a couple of weeks and not years. I can't believe actually it's been that long.
It would be like 6 months.
It's been a long time. It has been a long time, way too long.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you, Masha Malka.
Wonderful to see you.
And
Nicole.
please do contact Masha for anything. If you've enjoyed what we've been talking about, I'm sure Masha would enjoy talking with you. And it's never humiliating or embarrassing to get help. You have to be a strong, brave person to get help. Try and do things on your own, but if you can't, get help. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love this time of year in Marbella. The chestnuts are roasting in the streets, and everybody's getting ready now after Halloween to celebrate Christmas. Very exciting. Nice to see that we've still got a very busy city. Thank you for coming to visit us. We love welcoming you. And those of us who live here, well, we're blessed, and we should remember that every single day, and also think to do something for our city in return. Just the other day, I practiced what I preached. I walked past some poops on the floor. I had poo bags in my pocket. So although they weren't my dog's poops, I picked them up and I put them in the bin. I encourage you to do little simple acts of kindness like that, because we love our city. We should also take care of it. Well, that's it for me for this week. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and remember to like and share my guest messages, please, and mine too. You can do so by sharing the program from the rtvmarbella.tv website, or simple links from my website, nicoleking.es, and the zerohero.es for an ever-increasing list of Zero Hero partners. Hasta pronto. Gracias.
You'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna